Hey everybody, it's Jake Mace, and I love YouTube. I've done YouTube for quite a long time. I've called myself the vegan athlete. I've done Jake Mace, Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Qigong, and now you guys have seen a lot of Nicolle and I. You've seen our relationship grow, you've seen us get engaged and married, and you've seen us survive off the grid, both in the Canadian wilderness, but also in the tropics. And I love YouTube for the reason that it kind of makes me feel like it kind of makes me feel like I'm not all alone in the world. You know, a lot of times I don't think of the views I get on videos or the subscribers as real. I just see it as statistics, like digital stats. And when I first started doing YouTube, I didn't even know what that was. I had a little flip phone with a camera on it, and I would just teach my martial arts classes, and then at midnight I would make videos on the same lessons that I would teach that day. And it just felt cool to have a video as evidence that I existed. You know, having a video on YouTube of the fitness I did with my martial arts class, or the self-defense applications, or the sparring tip, or the weapons tip, or the Tai Chi move, just felt good to put on video. It felt like I was preserved somehow. When I taught people in real life, it kind of felt like after the class was over, if I taught great lessons that day, it just vanished in the wind. So I've always enjoyed YouTube for that, and now YouTube has become kind of what I do with thousands of videos on the platform. So it's times like this where I've been thankful for you as the audience who have chosen to watch me either with Nicolle or me by myself, or if you found this video for the first time, I just want to say thanks for watching me on YouTube. And I'm now 42 years old, and I feel like I'm old enough where I've gained some experience through the school of hard knocks. I don't think I'm a very smart guy. I just think I've done a lot of things that have given me some experience. But I'm still young enough where I'm not too old, where I can still kind of share some of the things I'm going through, and maybe it'll help a young guy. I mostly feel like a lot of the things I'm going through can help guys, because I'm a guy, and especially young guys. And what I find in today's world is that a lot of young guys in their 20s and in their 30s and their 40s are having less and less families and kids than ever before, and a lot of girls for that matter as well, but mostly guys. And now that Nicolle is pregnant with our second baby, and we have our beautiful son Fox, I'm really thankful for my family, and I really feel like I've taken a step back from YouTube. I've taken a step back from business. I've taken a step back from, personal projects that I have, and I've really tried to take that step back from those business and personal things, because I've been able to make giant leaps forward with Nicolle and my family. And I feel like a lot of the hours that I've been putting into Fox and into Nicolle and into our family, those hours used to go toward my brick and mortar martial arts business or my video business, and I don't do that anymore. So I'm sorry I don't produce as many videos as before, but I really love my family a lot, and I really have enjoyed becoming a dad, and I wish I would have become a dad a lot younger and sooner. When we gave birth to Fox, I was 40 and Nicolle was 29. We're 10.5 years apart in age, and I just think that it's great to have my son Fox. He's so athletic, and I feel like I'm pretty in good shape still. I'm pretty athletic, but it would have been so nice to have him when I was 30 years old and have 10 more years with him. And so I want to talk to my younger self and say, hey, 25-year-old Jake, when I was that age, I really got involved with a lot of philosophies that I feel are American first world country philosophies, if that's even a word, a phrase. And I feel like in today's world, a lot of first world countries and a lot of American guys and girls are being told to prioritize making it in life in terms of money. They're being told to make it in career. They're being told to make it with society, and they're being told that it's not as important to have kids because the world is overpopulated anyways. It's more important to have less kids so that we have less population. And I don't know if I believe in that. I think that there's a lot of world out there, and if you have babies, and if you have a beautiful, strong, healthy family, and you're present in that family, and you are a great alpha leader of that family, or a great matriarch of that family, that's the reason to live. And I believe in God and spirits and energy and the universe and chi, and I think it's all one and the same thing. And I think that when Fox was born, I felt like it was me being born. Does that make sense to anybody? I felt like when I saw Fox get born, I kind of had like a hallucinogenic experience, and I kind of felt like I was seeing myself be born all over again, and I don't know how to explain it. I felt like my future and my past and my present were all happening at the same time, and I was watching a boy who had Jake Mace as his dad, but I was actually watching my dad, maybe even my dad's dad, maybe even my ancestors given birth to me again, and almost like because I gave birth to Fox, my spirit or my chi or my mana or my seed or whatever it was existing in multiple planes at the same time. So I want to talk to younger men out there. If you're able to learn a skill, any skill that allows you to make it in life, start having a family. It's really amazing, and no amount of successes I've had with YouTube or business or even friendships aren't as important as my family. And I really feel like, you know, finding Nicolle and taking a risk at starting a new relationship as an older guy with her, and us making it so well, and then choosing to have babies together has been, you know, the crowning achievement in my life. And so she's pregnant again, and she's really, her and I both, but especially Nicolle, she's very strong, she's very healthy, and she's very into a holistic, natural way of, an ancient way of being pregnant and giving birth. And so I've learned a lot about women and about children and families through Nicolle and through her pregnancies. And it's very humbling to get a girl pregnant. I don't know how that sounds. It's very humbling as a guy to have a female partner who gets pregnant and really be able to do nothing except for protect that girl from physical harm and cook for her and give her a lot of nutrients and a relaxed as possible home life and just give her some loving. And that's it. You know, I can't produce milk for the babies. I'm a dude. I can't give birth to the babies. I'm a guy. Girls have so many great things going for them, and when I have been around Nicolle through her pregnancies and through her giving birth to Fox, I really have learned a lot about how the world works. Living in the forest, diving in the ocean, being close to nature and the elements has taught me a lot about how the world works. And I gotta tell you, guys are not stronger than girls. Girls and guys are equal. And guys, like, I do a lot of things better than girls, a lot. And girls do a lot of things better than me, a lot. And I need that partnership, you know. I have found in my life that girls need me and I need them. And it's a 50-50 yin and yang. And I don't know how that sounds to everybody in today's world, but I love being in a relationship. I love being with Nicolle, and I love starting our family together. So this whole pregnancy has been very interesting to watch Nicolle's growth, this pregnancy versus the pregnancy with Fox. We were both new to giving birth and being pregnant, and so everything with Fox was a new experience. Hearing the heartbeat with a fetal scope, which is like a stethoscope, through Nicolle's belly was very empowering and really spiritual. And then hearing Fox start to hiccup in Nicolle's belly when he got like 6 months in, and hearing his lungs start to develop where he was doing hiccups in her belly, which was his lungs starting to like practice. Seeing Nicolle's body change and seeing a woman's body go through changes was very sexy and very beautiful to me. I don't know how that sounds, but like, you know, I never knew how, you know, attracted I would be to a woman that then became pregnant, how I was equally as attracted to her as a pregnant woman. And then after she gave birth, to see just how the woman's body changes like that, and how it affects me was quite interesting, and I like it a lot. And then to see how Nicolle and I got caught up in that whole pandemic period of a few years where we gave birth right in the middle, and it really affected us because knowing what we know now, we gave birth to a very healthy boy in Fox, but it was 33, 34 weeks. So according to the modern American medical system, that's, you know, a couple weeks premature. But it's not premature where a child won't survive. You know, at 33, 34 weeks, a lot of a baby's nervous system and brain and heart is all developed, and it's usually the lungs that are almost there. And so we gave birth to Fox at, I think it was 34, and he was perfect. He was crying and breathing and just great. And it was that the pandemic that really, you guys can go watch our old video of our birth story with Fox. It kind of, the hospital barred us from seeing him for 8 days, and it was really difficult. I was able to navigate that pretty well and get him out, and now he's been with us, and we just love him so much, and he's so perfect. And Nicolle did that whole birth natural without any assistance in terms of you know, numbing or painkillers. She still wanted that natural experience, even though we had a home birth plan with our beautiful midwife here in our tropical location, and it didn't work out because we went into premature labor at 33 weeks, and our midwife said that we might want to go, it was a little early, and she hadn't given birth to a baby that early before, so we thought it might be smart to go to the hospital. And that was really against what Nicolle wanted. So, but we ended up not needing the hospital, and it was actually very difficult to be part of the hospital's culture and to navigate that and get out of there. So this time, we really wanted Nicolle to stay pregnant until she was full term. So we really wanted Nicolle to stay pregnant until at least 37, 38 weeks. And we would love it if she was giving birth around 40, 41 weeks. We went to our tropical place this time very early in the 3rd month of pregnancy to make sure that we had a good 6 months, a very just predictable, low-key, relaxed living. And we figured that we would build our tropical location, which to this point has been called our bug out location. And we have 4 different permits for little structures we have on the property. It's a 5-acre property, and we're very happy to get those permits. And so now we're just kind of slowly relaxed, building each of the 4, we call them farm structures, and just enjoying life. And at Komorebi, at the yurt, we really did live in our van. We really did live in the yurt the entire time. We went from van to yurt, and now building the shipping container house, which you guys have all seen on our YouTube channel, which we will go back to there and finish that house with you guys on YouTube. So subscribe and come along for the journey. But here at the tropical location, we're very much so away from any major land masses in the Pacific Ocean, and we just didn't want to live in a tent on our acreage. We really wanted to do things proper, so we got our permits in place 2 years in advance, and we were able to find a nice rental property nearby. So we ended up you know, spending a little bit to have a rental property, and then we've been living at the rental property and building our off-grid garden and farm structures on our property, which is actually considered a farm or ag property here in the tropics. And that to us was the safest thing we could do for Nicolle and for our baby. So I have no problem telling you guys that. You know, I just don't need to show you everything about my life, you know. So a lot of you ask, you know, where are you guys living when you're at the tropical place? Well, to this point we've been at a rental, and we're still at a rental. So the whole goal was to kind of retrofit the rental to be a home birth location with our 2 midwives and a doula, and have a couple of key friends or family members come to help with Fox and let Nicolle birth relaxed at home with water and you know, good food and good relaxed vibrations. And that was our plan. So this time we really learned a lot from our first pregnancy, and when Nicolle hit about 25 weeks, we're going to weekly visits with our midwife. And starting at 25 weeks, Nicolle went from being very healthy and like barely pregnant looking to being very pregnant looking. She started to look really pregnant. And we were thinking to ourselves, wow, she's going to give birth to a big baby this time. When you go see your birthing person, whether it's a doctor or whether it's an OBGYN or whether it's a midwife, they like to measure the woman. And so Nicolle, let's say that she's 31 weeks pregnant, they would measure her belly, and they would say, according to our statistics, you're actually, you know, you're measuring at like 34 weeks or 35 weeks. And so then about 2 weeks ago, we went to our 33-week midwife appointment, and our midwife said, you know, you're measuring at 38 weeks. And this pregnancy was a little different for us. Nicolle was very, You want me to be truthful with you for a second? I can be truthful and I can tell you some honest talk. Just don't let Nicolle watch this video. She was really aggressive the first trimester on this pregnancy. The first pregnancy with Fox, she was beautiful, I think, the whole time. And this pregnancy, the first 3 months, she was very feisty, very fiery, a lot of hoa in there, a lot of fire, and it was directed toward me. And so I really did feel like I was a dartboard the first trimester, and Nicolle was holding all the darts, and she was just throwing as hard as she could at my direction. And it was my job to kind of like, you know, to Tai Chi yield and Bagua deflect all of these darts and just stay with her and stay in love with her. So it did seem like her energy was much different. So what Nicolle and I started doing is eating a lot more fish that I would catch, spear fishing. Our chickens are now producing eggs for us here, which is fantastic. And so we started, and we found a farm right next door to us here in our tropical location that we can literally go to the farm and see the cows. We saw that they were doing grass-fed, grass-finished, 100% no glyphosate, no GMO, grazing their entire life, grass-fed, grass-finished cows. And so Nicolle was just thinking to herself, she really was craving cow and meat. And so we started including that farm's food in our diet as well. So I was providing the fish, the eggs, the garden produce from our garden, the fruit from our fruit trees, and then hitting local farmers markets for more fruit. And then we were including the grass-fed local beef from our farm next door. And it seemed to help a lot. Instantly, she was satiated and she was relaxed. And we just felt like her placenta and her baby and herself was so much more strong and healthy and ready for the next 6 months of pregnancy. So part of us thought that we were measuring bigger because we were eating meat that normally we don't do. We normally just do vegetarian unless I catch the fish or we grow the eggs. And we listened to the heartbeat of the baby, and it was always very healthy and beautiful. She was feeling lots of hiccups and kicking around the 6 months, and then our midwife was telling us that in the meeting we had with the midwife at 33 weeks, the one from 2 weeks ago, she was listening to Nicolle's belly with the stethoscope called the fetal scope for a long time, and maybe 10 minutes. And I was watching Fox in her office, and I was thinking to myself, wow, the midwife is the pro, and she can't find the heartbeat. You know, I'm finding the heartbeat every night, you know, when I'm playing with Nicolle's belly. But that's not what it was. The midwife did find the heartbeat early. She is the pro, and she was actually hearing an echo. And so she was listening really intently to see if she heard more than one heartbeat in Nicolle, and she didn't hear that. And Nicolle for a second said, you know, everybody thinks I'm having twins because I'm so big. And she just kept hearing that echoey heartbeat. And Nicolle said, you know, we've only ever heard one heartbeat, Jake and I. And I'm experiencing a lot of movement, but I'm not experiencing like 8 limbs of movement. I'm experiencing what I feel to be a normal amount of kicks and you know, moving of the baby. But I gotta say, as a guy, watching Nicolle go through this second pregnancy, she was experiencing a lot of pain. A lot of times, like, we would see her stomach would be like it wouldn't be perfectly round. You would see like a knee or a foot or maybe a shoulder or a butt. You know, you would see parts of the baby's body like coming out of her stomach here, and she would feel a lot of pressure down in her hip here. We even thought at one point she was like experiencing a femoral hernia or something, because she was feeling a lot of hip pain, where normally Nicolle and I have no pain. We're pretty healthy, and then she was feeling a lot of the baby, and she couldn't get the baby to where she felt like it was in a comfortable position. So that same day we went to that 33-week midwife appointment. The midwife told us, okay, now we're getting into the final stages of pregnancy, so now we're going to start meeting a little more often, and the next couple of meetings, instead of my office, we're going to meet at your birthing area at your home, and we'll meet there, and we'll meet more frequently as we approach the birthing time. So that same evening, I am up late as normal. Around midnight, I'm watching YouTube videos, and I get a text from the bedroom. So like, I'm on the sofa and Nicolle's in the bedroom, and at midnight she texts me. Sometimes Nicolle is up, even though she falls asleep with Fox. Sometimes Nicolle's up doing things until later. She texts me, hey Jake, can you come in here? And that's very unusual to have your spouse text you from the next room. Usually she just like comes out and talks to me in person. And so I'm thinking, oh, you know, something's happening with Fox or her. And so I go in there and she's laying in bed and she says, I think my water just broke. And we just had this moment where we just, you know, we were trying so hard to do everything we could to make it past 36, 37 weeks. And to hear her say my water broke again at 33 weeks, the same time as Fox, it first of all made sense because maybe Nicolle just gives birth to healthy babies early. Maybe she's just the type of girl that gives birth to healthy babies early. But we also thought that we really didn't want to give birth before 36 weeks. We really wanted to make it to that point. And so it's midnight now, and Fox is sleeping, and Nicolle and I got up and we had to talk. You know, there's no hospital at our tropical location because it still is a very remote location. There's no hospital that has a birthing center like a NICU for an early baby. So let's say that she gives birth to a baby and it does need help because it's too premature. They would never give birth at our location here. They would want to fly us on an ambulance plane to the nearest place that has a full NICU and birthing hospital. A NICU is like an intensive care unit for neonates, for babies, for like premature babies or babies that need help. The NICU is also the most profitable wing of the hospital, and so you'll see a lot more babies go there in these days, and you can go to Google and look up your own statistics for that. But a lot of times NICUs, they will help babies who need help, and they will help babies who are too young to survive on their own. Now 33 weeks is not that. You're on the threshold. A lot of times people give birth to very healthy babies at that early stage. We did with Fox. So we went out into the living room and we had to have that conversation. Do we go to the ambulance plane right now and fly you? And then of course, they usually won't let the man and the family come. So Fox and I would have to wait till the next day, load up a commercial flight, have a friend watch our dogs and our property, and then Fox and I would have to fly separately. And now Nicolle would be by herself, you know, at some location that we don't know that well, away from our midwife, away from our birthing center, away from our family and friends, you know, who are here at this location. And so as we're discussing this, we called the midwife at 1 in the morning. She luckily answered and she said, I'll come right over. So I'm so grateful and thankful to midwives. I don't know how the midwife was able to wake up and have 3 bags packed that had everything you need to birth a baby and got over to our location within 30 minutes. It was very great. So when the midwife shows up, now it's around 1:30, and the 3 of us are talking about what we should do. And should we give birth right here or should we go to the hospital immediately? And as we're talking, Nicolle is starting to have contractions and they're getting intense, and now she's having to exclude herself from the conversation, and she's having to do some of her mantra vibration. She does a lot of nice chanting, and the chanting that she does helps her with breathing. And not only has she learned that from other midwives and women who have given birth, but also from me. I used to teach a lot of meditation and tonal chanting and stuff through Chinese martial arts. So we've worked on that over the years. So she went right into her breathing and meditation and chanting. And I said to her, I think that these contractions are pretty intense. They're real and they're getting closer together. I think that if I put you in a vehicle and I drive you to the hospital, it's gonna take an hour to get there. And I think you're gonna give birth on the side of the road at 1:30 in the morning in the dark. I think it's really unsafe. And if we call an ambulance, it's gonna take the ambulance 45 minutes just to get to our location. I don't think it's safe to leave here. And we're very much set up to have a safe environment here with our midwife. And so the baby made the decision for us. And Nicolle very much so went into labor very quickly there. By 2 in the morning, she was going into labor. The midwife called another midwife, and then we had a friend come with Fox, and we had a good team around us. And by 4 something in the morning, Nicolle gave birth to a very healthy girl, and we were really touched. I mean, I can't tell you how much we were just wanting a perfect healthy baby. And if it would have been another boy, we would have been very excited. But Nicolle really did want a girl. She wanted to have a boy and a girl. And when she gave birth to that girl, and the girl came out and the coloring looked amazing, and she was crying, and she was breathing, and she was just like Fox. just perfect. But the umbilical cord was very short, so Nicolle gave birth on her hands and knees, instead of on a back, which normally is for the doctors to have access. We've experienced, in our experience, for Nicolle anyways, and women that we've talked to that have done midwife home births, it's actually very healthy for a woman to be on her knees. So Nicolle gave birth on her hands and knees, and it went very smoothly, and the baby was beautiful. And the umbilical cord was very short, so she's holding the baby very low, close to herself, because she couldn't bring the baby out because the umbilical cord was so short. And for about 10 to 12 minutes, we were just very blessed and very touched that we had this healthy, beautiful baby girl. And we thought, we made the right decision. Everybody's healthy and beautiful. Nicolle's perfect. No need for any help for Nicolle. About 12 minutes later, Nicolle starts having more contractions for the placenta. I don't know if you guys know how that works, but the placenta, for guys out there, is like basically an organ that a woman grows when she's pregnant. And that's like you have a heart and you have a spleen and you have a stomach and you have lungs and you have kidneys, a liver. A woman grows a placenta, which is an extra organ that feeds the baby while you're pregnant. And so when women give birth, they give birth to a baby and a placenta. And the placenta is really and it's incredible how a woman can grow this organ so quickly. And the placenta and the baby are one. And so when you cut an umbilical cord, that's cutting the baby from the placenta. It was now about 5 in the morning and Fox woke up. So Fox was with our friend and who agreed to come over and help, just care for Fox while Nicolle and I were involved with the birth. And so it was placenta time for Nicolle to birth the placenta. And so her body started going into more contractions to birth that, and the midwife was ready to catch it. And so I gave her the vessel, and the midwife goes underneath to catch the placenta safely. And we see her underneath there ready and hear her say, it's another baby. And before we knew it, our first baby girl's twin came out about 12 minutes later. And so Nicolle birthed a second baby girl, and we got her crying and her breathing and healthy as well. And it turns out after Nicolle then birthed the placenta that they are from the same placenta, and so they're identical twin girls. And we just feel very blessed. My whole being has been to I've been really hard to reach. I've got a lot of people that normally I correspond with in business and with friends and family that I just can't talk to, because my whole being has been to be with Nicolle, keep these babies warm, keep them breathing, keep them nursing from Nicolle, keep them feeding on colostrum and milk, and keep them sleeping. And Nicolle is so organized. Her and her midwife have got the sleeping and feeding schedule to keep these babies gaining weight, growing, getting to full term, and at the same time staying warm and safe, and also navigating Fox, who is 2.5 years old and very caring and loving and very mature at watching this whole process unfold of becoming a big brother. But also he's still a 2.5-year-old who likes to come on the bed and touch the babies and hold their hands. And sometimes with a young 2.5-year-old, they can be too loving. And so we're trying to figure out how to navigate, taking care of Fox, but also still being about Fox while getting these new baby girls healthy and they are healthy, but getting them to be a few months old where I feel that they'll be more self-sufficient and chunkier and bigger and not as dependent on mom and dad, because right now they are newborn babies who need all the care of mom and dad. If you guys love watching our videos, please shout out to us in the comments. Give us a beautiful comment or a beautiful question that we can answer. Share our videos on your social media platforms, and I look forward to showing you our off-grid life as it comes about over the next 10 years. I hope YouTube sticks around, and looking forward to showing you how our tropical off-grid property develops into a beautiful home at the same time that our temperate forest property surrounded by orca, bears, and cougars that started as a yurt builds itself into a beautiful home. And then I would love to show you how our family of 5 now travels between these properties with our sailboat Appa. And I just would love that to be our life, that our young babies grow up learning to be self-sufficient, learning real skills of multiple languages and mathematics and science, and growing their own food and catching their own food, and learning how to transport themselves around the globe with their own means via the wind and the sailboat, instead of just paying for everything all the time. So this is my interest, and I would love for my children to get to be 18 years old, and even if they don't want to be like me, I instilled in them multiple languages, science and math, engineering, gardening, self-defense, fitness, sailing, boating, and being self-sufficient people that know how to build and know how to catch and know how to provide for themselves. And then they can take those experiences and run with it. I feel like for me in my life, I was given a lot from my parents, but I was also given like the school system, and I was given the high school diploma, and I was given the college experience, and I didn't really feel like that prepared me for anything. And so I really want to be conscious of what I feel my shortcomings are and were, and amend that and give my children all the tools they need to kick some butt and go off and have their own adventures once they're 18 and beyond. So I'm super excited about being a family of 5 and being a family of 5 so quickly. And I would love to end this video now and then have Nicolle come on in the next video and tell you her birthing experience, her story. I'll film it and edit it for her to make it easy on her, because she's gonna have to get back to the girls. And then I would love to introduce you to our new twin girls and let you take a sneak peek at them, and let Nicolle formally introduce you to them and tell you their names. As I end this video and give you a little sneak peek at some of the projects we've been working on in addition to growing babies, I want to show you guys these full projects. I just haven't edited the videos yet, so subscribe and stick with our channel to see the help that my new daughters have had in the past 12 days. Is not just because of Nicolle and I, it really has been because of our midwife and our midwife's social circle of midwives, assistants, and friends and family who have come to help us during this time. And the midwives who stayed with us for days and days, slept at our place. We had a rental with quite a few bedrooms, so they were able to stay with us and cook for us and keep the baby safe while Nicolle got an extra 20 minutes of sleep, and helped us keep the babies warm and check on the babies and make sure that they had a little extra oxygen if they needed that, or no oxygen if they didn't need that. And just the amount of care that the midwives and our friends and our family have given us, and people that were bringing over meals for Nicolle and I. Nicolle and I cook so many meals ourselves, and we're so self-sufficient, but people in our social circle brought over lentils for us and rice for us, and they brought over, they went to go get an oxygen tank if we needed that for the babies to breathe, and which one did for a short time and one did not. And now they're both just on their own, staying warm and breathing so beautifully and eating so beautifully. They're both eating so well and gaining weight and getting more mature day by day, and just they look so perfect. They look so similar to Fox when Fox was born, and they look very similar to each other, even though I can still tell them apart. And I'm just so, I felt like over the past, I'm not trying to cry, but I really have felt like over the past decade of my life, maybe even 15 years, maybe as long as I've done YouTube, I felt very alone. I don't know how that sounds. And YouTube kind of is a lonely thing. I think a lot of people who do social media, that's a terrible name for what the internet has become. It's not social. When you do a lot of social media, you're actually very anti-social, because so much of what you do is by yourself editing or creating the videos, or you're so involved in the process of creation that you're actually never with people quite a lot. I know there's exceptions to that, but for the most part, that's been my experience, and I just have felt very alone. And I've lost everything. Definitely I've lost everything 3 times. I can talk to you about that more later. So for the first time in my life, maybe it's because I got some girl energy in my life. Maybe it's twin energy. Somehow, as soon as these twin girls were born, a social circle formed around us that was really, really beautiful and nice. And normally I'm so in need of my athleticism, and I'm so in need of my quick wit and my ability to thrive under pressure. I'm really good under pressure, which is why I like spearfishing so much. I'm really calm out there in the ocean, and when I'm boating in very remote places, I just feel really calm during stressful situations. But this time I didn't need to be. This time there was midwives who brought other midwives, and there was midwives who organized other moms to bring meals to the house and to bring baby supplies and blankets and an oxygen tank, and really allowed Nicolle and I to hold our babies against our bodies and really care for them. And without that circle, these babies would have had a much harder time. So that circle that formed around us, thanks to our friends, family, and midwives, it didn't benefit Nicolle and I, it benefited these baby girls. And day 12 now, they're doing so well because of that. So I just wanted to add this little PS and amendment to this video and just say thank you to anybody who's watching that sent us good prayers and blessings, whether it's in the comments or whether it's in real life. I just really appreciate all of you. And I think everybody that gives birth to a child has their own experience, and our experience with doing everything so holistically and then not even knowing the gender of the baby, and then being so happy that we had a girl, but then also being surprised with identical twins. I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy, and I'm so looking forward to where my life is headed. And I want to thank that circle for coming around and selflessly giving themselves to our new growing family.